How you present yourself to the world has become just as important as the work you do. Whether you're a physician, founder, executive, creator, or career professional, learning how to build a personal brand is no longer a vanity project. It's a core career skill. And here's the key: a strong personal brand is not about curating a fake image. It's about consistently showing up as your most aligned, valuable, and trustworthy self, so the right opportunities, people, and clients can actually find you. In this video, we're going to walk through the psychology, strategy, and practical steps of building a personal brand, backed by research. And I'll give you concrete examples you can start using today. Hook and roadmap. So if you've ever thought, I do good work, but I'm not seen. I don't want to brag, but I also don't want to be invisible. I know I need a personal brand. I just don't know where to start. This is for you. By the end of this video, you'll know how to define what you want to be known for, communicate that clearly and confidently, show up consistently online and offline, and use your voice in a way that builds trust, visibility, and new opportunities. Let's start at the foundation: who you are at work and how others see you. Why your identity at work matters. Before you post a single thing on social media, your personal branding journey begins with identity and self-concept, how you see yourself and how others file you away in their minds. Social psychologists have shown that people quickly form impressions of others based on just a few dimensions, especially warmth and competence. In a split second, you're mentally labeled as the trusted expert, the approachable mentor, the difficult but brilliant colleague, or the invisible one. These quick impressions become shortcuts that guide how people treat you: who gets asked for input, who gets invited into key meetings, who gets recommended for promotions or speaking opportunities. Here's the important part: if you don't intentionally shape how you show up, other people will fill in the blanks for you. Research on impression management tells us that consistent, authentic self presentation improves how competent and leadership ready you're perceived to be. In other words, when you show up in a clear, aligned way over time, people start to see you as the go to person in your space. Let me bring this to life with a simple example. Example: two professionals, same talent, different visibility. Imagine two equally skilled professionals. Anna is a physician leader who quietly does excellent work. Her patients love her, her team trusts her, but she rarely shares her wins, doesn't speak up much in meetings, and her LinkedIn profile is basically empty. Jordan does similarly high quality work, but with one big difference: Jordan volunteers to present team updates. They share a short monthly post on LinkedIn about lessons from recent projects. Their headline reads, Healthcare Quality Leader, Reducing Harm Through Data and Compassionate Care. Same level of talent, very different level of visibility. Who do you think gets remembered for promotions, panels, and collaborations? Not just the one who works hard, but the one who also communicates their value. That's the power of deliberately building your reputation, your personal brand. Step 1: defining your core identity. A strong personal brand strategy starts with clarity. Who are you? What do you care about? What value do you create? Let's start with your values and purpose. Research in organizational psychology shows that when our work is aligned with our values, we experience more engagement, resilience, and well being. You feel better and you show up better. Ask yourself, what do I stand for in my work? What do I never want to compromise on? What kind of impact do I want to have on people, teams, or systems? You might even journal on prompts like, in my career, I want to be known for. If people described me in one sentence, I'd want them to say, I feel most alive at work when. From your answers, choose 3 to 5 words. Maybe yours are integrity, compassion, clarity, courage, growth. Those words become quiet anchors behind your personal brand. They shape your tone, your decisions, and how you show up. Step 2: identifying your strengths and niche. Next, let's talk about strengths. Studies on strengths-based development show that people who intentionally use their strengths at work are more engaged, more productive, and less likely to burn out. So your brand should lean into what you naturally do well. Ask yourself, what am I particularly good at? Is it strategy, teaching, systems thinking, listening, or simplifying complex ideas? Where do people naturally come to me for help? What problems do I love solving so much that time just disappears? For example, a physician might realize, I'm great at breaking down complex medical information into simple human language. I care deeply about reducing burnout and helping clinicians create sustainable careers. Those insights might evolve into a brand like, I help physicians create sustainable, meaningful careers through evidence based strategies and compassionate coaching. See how that's more than a job title? It's a promise. Step 3. Choose your focus. Now, here's a common trap: trying to be everything to everyone. A personal brand is clearest when it has a focus. You're not just a leader, you're a women's leadership advocate in healthcare, a data informed operations leader in tech, or a burnout recovery coach for high achieving professionals. Focus doesn't trap you, it just gives people a hook to remember you by. It's the difference between she's smart and she's the one who helps women rebuild after burnout. Crafting a clear brand message. Once you're clear on your values, strengths, and audience, it's time to translate all of that into a brand message people can understand in seconds. Here's a simple formula for a one-line positioning statement. I help who achieve what result through how, grounded in what makes you credible or unique. A few examples. I help women physicians rebuild careers they love after burnout using evidence-based psychology and practical strategy. I help healthcare organizations improve quality and reduce costs through data driven process improvement and compassionate leadership. This one line can guide your LinkedIn headline, your website bio, your speaking introductions, even how you answer, so, what do you do? Using story to make your brand memorable. Now let's layer in storytelling. We know from research that people remember stories far more than lists of skills. So use a simple narrative structure. Before, where you started, the challenge, friction, or question. Turning point, what you learned or realized. Now, the work you do and who you help. Why it matters. The bigger purpose behind it. Here's an example. After burning out in clinical practice, I realized that high achieving women are often praised for endurance, but rarely taught sustainable success. I shifted into leadership and coaching, and now I help women physicians create careers that honor both their ambition and their well being. In just a few sentences, people know your story, your audience, your values, and your focus. Building credibility, thought leadership, and social proof. A personal brand isn't only about being visible, it's about being credible. That's where thought leadership and social proof come in. Thought leadership means you're not just listing your achievements, you're sharing your perspective. You frame problems in a helpful way. You share lessons learned. You translate research into real-world strategies. Research on status and influence shows that people who consistently contribute ideas and insight are more likely to be seen as leaders, even without formal titles. Here are 3 simple ways to demonstrate thought leadership, even with a small audience. Share insights from your work. After a project, post. Here are 3 things we learned from leading a cross-functional team through a tight deadline. Translate research into practice. For example, a large study found that burnout in physicians is driven not just by hours, but by lack of control and misaligned values. Here are 3 questions leaders can ask their teams this month to start more honest conversations. Answer real questions. Listen to what people ask you most often. How did you pivot out of clinical medicine? How do you set boundaries as a leader? Each answer can become a post, a video, or a talk. Then layer in social proof, testimonials from clients or colleagues, speaking engagements or podcasts, concrete results like helped reduce turnover by 15% over 12 months. Not to brag, but to say, here's why you can trust me to help you. Optimizing your online presence. In today's world, your online presence is often the first impression of your personal brand. Let's talk about LinkedIn, because for many professionals, that's home base. Key pieces to optimize your headline. Go beyond job title. For example, Senior Medical Director, leading physician teams, burnout prevention and sustainable success advocate. Your photo, clear, friendly, professional. People make rapid judgments about trustworthiness based on facial cues, so choose a photo where you look approachable and like you. Your About section. Tell your story in a few short paragraphs. Include who you serve, what you care about, what makes you different, what you're working on now. Add a simple call to action. Connect with me if you're working on X, or reach out for speaking and collaboration opportunities. Featured section. Pin your best work. Articles, talks, interviews, case studies. Experience. Don't just list tasks, describe impact. For example, led a team of 12 physicians, reduced peer review turnaround times by 30% while increasing team engagement scores. After that, Google your name. Ask, does this reflect the story I want my personal brand to tell? Are there outdated bios or conflicting versions of me online? Where can I update information or link to more current work? Using content to shape your brand. Once your foundation is clear, you can use content to keep reinforcing your brand over time. This does not mean posting every day. It means choosing a sustainable rhythm that fits your life. Ask yourself, do I prefer writing, speaking, or video? Where is my audience most likely to be? LinkedIn, a newsletter, a podcast, Instagram? You might write one article or blog twice a month and break it into shorter posts. Host a monthly webinar or live session and repurpose key points as clips or quotes. Start a simple email newsletter and share one short insight every week or two. Make your content backed by research where appropriate, practical, and immediately useful, grounded in real stories and examples. That combination, insightful and actionable, is powerful for a personal brand. Boundaries, burnout, and protecting your energy. As your personal brand grows, more opportunities will come your way. Panels, collaborations, new roles, side projects. That's wonderful. But without boundaries, it can also be overwhelming. Research on high-achieving professionals shows that overcommitment without clear limits is a major risk factor for burnout. So, before you say yes, ask, does this align with my values and focus? Does this move me toward my long-term vision? Do I realistically have capacity for this? You can even use a simple yes filter, aligned with my mission, reaches my ideal audience, either pays fairly, builds real visibility, or brings deep joy. If it doesn't meet at least two of those, it may be a kind no. Ironically, being selective often strengthens your brand. You're seen as clear, intentional, and self-respecting. A simple 30-day action plan. To make this practical, here's a 30-day plan you can start now. Week 1. Clarity. Write down your top 3 to 5 values. Draft your one-line positioning statement. Write a short origin story about who you are and why you do what you do. Week 2. Online presence. Update your LinkedIn headline and About section. Choose 2 to 4 pieces of work to feature. Google yourself and update at least one outdated profile. Week 3. Content and communication. Choose your primary platform. Draft 4 to 6 short posts or video ideas based on lessons, research, or stories. Practice 2 to 3 phrases or scripts that reflect your brand for feedback, boundaries, or hard conversations. Week 4. Relationships and refinement. Reach out to 3 to 5 people you admire for coffee chats or Zoom conversations. Comment meaningfully on content from your peers or mentors. Reflect on what felt aligned and what felt forced, and adjust your focus accordingly. Final thoughts. Your personal brand is not a logo, a pose, or a persona. It's the lived experience people have of you over time, your values in action, your expertise in service of others, and your voice used with intention. You don't have to be loud to be visible. You don't have to be perfect to be trusted. You simply have to be clear about what you stand for, consistent in how you show up, and courageous enough to be seen as you really are. Over time, those small aligned actions, one updated bio, one thoughtful post, one honest conversation, build a personal brand that doesn't just create success. It creates work and relationships that fit who you truly are. Grab my free leadership workbook, 5 Steps to Communicate with Calm, Clarity, and Confidence at powerofpeacefulness.com. Until next time, take a deep breath, embrace the present moment, and keep walking your path to peace.